Welcome along,
That is
weekend
unbelievable.
roundup. Oh my days.
Wow.
We're in for a great show today, guys. Well, what about the North London derby?
I'm not getting rattled.
And we're 3 points off top 4, so it's not looking too bad.
Yeah,
Foden
I'd
88,
say
Saka
that's about
87.
right,
I think that's wrong.
Nice that you put your top on. You want to take it off and get the branding out? Happy birthday!
Make a wish to win the league.
I did.
How much chance will Arsenal have of winning the Champions League?
0, mate.
If we got through
Can't do it
PSV, do you think there's any chance?
No,
of we
no,
don't?
no.
Hang on, let me finish.
Predictions:
2-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 Wolves.
Chelsea to beat Man United at Old Trafford.
Still
You're in
there.
trouble if we win this game.
You better not lose on Saturday.
We beat the world champions this weekend. That makes you world champion.
We're the world champions, but you're not in a title.
This is why you'll never win the league.
6 million down the drain.
Robbie celebrating a 1-0 win. Abby Pilates instead of trophies. You never walk alone.
Catch us every Monday for the weekend roundup.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to DR Sports. Welcome back to Live at 5. We're here in the studio on a Thursday after the first set of Premier League midweek games. And it's been great for me because it means United are playing midweek. And I love it because it's the first time it's happened in a long time. But yesterday, I'm sure you guys would have enjoyed some of the football. I mean, not all of us. But some of us would have enjoyed the football that went on last night. I had a great evening last night. Sat and watching the telly. I watched the Brighton game, funnily enough. Thankfully enough. I picked that Brighton game. So I think, maybe something will happen. And it was 4-3. It was an absolute crazy game. But today, joining me on the panel, obviously, my name is Dylan. I'm your host today. On my left, it's Laurie, representing Arsenal.
Absolutely.
How you
Proud
feeling?
to do so. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man.
Feeling
Why
good?
wouldn't I?
Yeah, true. 3 points.
Things are
3
good
points.
right now.
And then on my right-hand side, it's Alex on a Thursday once again.
You're right,
How
mate.
are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, been better. Just tired, to be honest. I think. Them late Wednesday nights,
Late
early
night last
starts in London on a Thursday. I mean, they're always a lot more manageable when you win. I think you just get tired of losing.
Yeah.
And then travelling to go and talk about you losing. But yeah, it's all good, mate. I'm here. I'm alive, and we're rocking and rolling.
I got to say, I really like that jumper you're wearing. Just as an off-cut, where's it from? Is it just an Adidas
Nike.
jumper? Well, no, I know that. I don't know if it's part of a Liverpool collection or not. It's just that's really, really
I
nice.
got this about 10 years ago. Just Adidas, yeah. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's very 90s, isn't it?
That's pretty good. What I wanted to ask you is, so last night, pretty much the only game I didn't watch was your Liverpool versus Sunderland game. And I know you would have spent a lot of time talking about it today already.
Yeah.
But I actually really want to get the lowdown from you about what actually happened. Because I was keeping up with it just like through, the Sky Sports commentators going, oh, Wirtz has scored our own goal, equaliser, all this, and Sunderland scores. But what actually went on? Because of the reaction I've seen from the game, from like Carragher's comments and a couple other fans, obviously your fan cams as well, seems like it was, even though you came back and you managed to get the draw despite being losing, it seems it was another game of just not sure what's going on and a bit flat.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to say that out of all the games that we've obviously lost this season, I know we didn't lose this. It's the first game we've drawn. We normally just win or lose. But this was up there with one of the most kind of
Really?
just poor performances out of them all. I actually think we were lucky to get a draw. I think if we'd won that game, Sunderland would have walked away going, that's an absolute crime how we've not won that game, or at least got a point. So we barely deserve to draw. They have a shot cleared off the line in the last minute in another day that goes in. But for me, and I'm confident, and I'm saying it with my chest, that we didn't deserve anything really out of the game last night, because to deserve things out of a game, a draw or a win, you have to create chances, you have to create openings, you have to create connections on the pitch between your midfielders and your strikers in terms of, do you have that sixth sense yet? Obviously not, in terms of, trying to slide Isak in behind, or even an early cross to Isak. And none of these things are happening. So, yeah, it was one of the most abject performances I've seen at Anfield in a long time. And the
Even
fans,
compared to some of the other games this season.
do you know what? We even tried a little bit more in some of the games that we've lost at Anfield compared to that last night. Defensive errors again, giving the ball away. But for me, it's the lack of clear-cut chances that's the most worrying thing. We've had games this season that we've lost where we've created loads of chances, and you go, well, look, we've lost 2-1 at Palace, for example. We've hit the post 3 times. It wasn't our day.
Even against us, we beat you, Gakpo, at the post three times
in that game. And then you go, look, we lost, but thank God we're creating chances. Now it's like, we're not even creating chances, so that's a big worry. And again, the lads that we would, almost think that are going to score. The Isaks, the Ekatikas, the Salahs. If I'm honest, they're all out of form at the minute. So, yeah, I think I have to credit Sunderland. I think their manager's done such a great job since they've come in, him and his team. And again, he had probably 3 or 4 blueprints to go off how to actually come to Anfield and at least get a point, but try and win. He could have looked at the Palace result, the Forest result, the PSV game. There was enough blueprints there for him to come and do a job on us. And he actually said after the game, I can't believe how much time and space we were allowed. And for me,
Did he say that?
yeah,
Wow.
he came out and said that. And for me, if I'm a Liverpool player or a Liverpool manager, hearing them say that, I mean, it's embarrassing actually to see a promoted manager coming in saying, do you know what? We just were allowed all the time we wanted on the ball, can pick a pass out, and that is just not acceptable. Why are we not running more? Why are we not pressing them? There just doesn't seem to be any of that at the minute. So to answer your question, I was at the game. I wish I wasn't at the game, but I was, and what I saw was very poor, to be honest, mate. Very poor.
Wow, I didn't expect that. I thought it, again, I was just going off tweets.
People
and things.
think I don't criticise Liverpool, by the way.
Oh, I know
Let's
you do.
dispel that.
Yeah,
because
I know you do.
If they're there to be praised, you know me, I'll praise them till the cows come home. But equally, I have to say what I see. And last
On
night
that,
was very
can I
poor.
ask you a question? And it's something that I spoke briefly about with Dylan before the start of the show. I dared Dylan to ask it. He probably is not going to do so, but I'm going to ask it. So I'm not sure if you've seen the interview that Craig Burley gave. He works for, is it ESPN, one of those American journals?
I've got it up here.
And he was
Yeah,
scathing
ESPN.
of Liverpool, in particular Virgil Van Dijk, whom he labelled, and I quote, he's a coward. And he said that Van Dijk is not getting enough criticism for his performances.
So I've got the interview up here just for you and anyone watching, just to see what he said. So what he said is, Van Dijk is the barometer of what's wrong this year. He's supposed to be the leader, and all he's done is throw Kirkes under the bus and throw his arms up in the air. He's making as many mistakes as any other players. Every game you watch him and go, what is he doing? And then he went on to say, he does everything wrong, pass, doesn't close it down, and turns his back like a coward.
Who's this? Who said
Craig
this?
Burley, ex-Chelsea player.
Burley.
Yeah, he's doing work for American TV at the moment.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of him. So,
No,
I'll be
you have
honest.
heard of him. Come on.
Ex-Chelsea star, 54 years old. Let me look at how many games he played.
Look, I do think there is a certain level of you have to hit a certain.
I mean, if there's
certain height
there is
yourself
some
to be able to
truth in that
criticise.
in the way of Van Dijk has made mistakes. There's no getting around that. I mean, the PSV one, I called it laughable when I came out because I couldn't believe what I was seeing with my own eyes in terms of jumping up and
I've
punching
never
it
seen a
away. It's
footballer do that.
just unheard of. And then last night, I mean, yeah, he should go towards the ball, but he's being let down by his midfield. Your number 6 should be the first line of defence in that situation where the team that you're playing against has got the ball 30 yards from goal. Your centre-back shouldn't having to be pressing up that high to go and get the ball. That should be Ryan Gravenberch, McAllister or Soboslai's job. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, well, they're not around, so I'm going to have to take the hit here and run towards this ball and block it. He kind of does this thing sometimes where he backs away, but he has made mistakes, yes, that's clear to say. But on the other hand, he in my opinion, for that goal, he was let down by his midfield. But to call Virgil Van Dijk a coward when, you know, he does make mistakes. We lose every week in recent times, and he's there facing the media. He's not a coward. I think
that's strong
there's
words.
maybe it's a strong word for someone I've never heard of. But I mean, a coward is never a word I'd use to describe Virgil van Dijk. Maybe at sometimes it's lackadaisical. Maybe at sometimes it's again being let down by teammates. But to call Virgil a coward, who's the Premier League winning captain, you know, the last one to lift it, considering everything that's happened at Liverpool on and off the pitch, coward is almost a bit, well, it's disrespectful.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
disrespectful.
that's why I was interested to hear you taking it, because I do agree with you, Alex. He's not had a good season, but he has fronted
Because
up
coward
every time.
is questioning a man's integrity.
Yeah.
And there's no way he's a coward. He might have made some mistakes that have cost us points, but
You could
not a
use
coward,
many
he's
words
a
to
leader.
describe Virgil
But you can't use that
Van
one.
Dijk's performances this season, but coward is definitely
Yeah,
not
to be
one.
fair to Van Dijk, like,
He's far from a coward. As
a
you can
coward
get.
is someone
I'd like
who
him to say that to
quite
Virgil's
literally-
face, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Seriously.
A coward is someone who quite literally cowers away
Man
from
like
things.
Craig
And
Burley, say that to Virgil Van Dijk's face, and we'll see if you're
I
still
think there's
a
only
coward.
one winner
We'll
there.
see if you're
Yeah,
still a
yeah,
coward after
realistically,
he's had a chat with you.
realistically.
Well, that's why he
To
said
Van
it all the
Dijk's
way in
credit-
America.
Yeah,
so-
bro. That was cowardly in itself,
Yeah,
calling
yeah.
someone a coward from so far away. If you're going to call someone a coward, at least
ESPN
Rooney, like,
studios in the US, I think
at
they
least
are.
Rooney and Verge had their little face-to-face thing, and they kind of,
Well,
you know,
Rooney
laughed
as
it
well
off a
stood up
little
also,
bit.
and also Rooney just kind of said, "That's my opinion,"
Yeah.
and Van Dijk was that fair.
But then after that, Rooney did come out and say, actually, maybe it was a little bit over the top to say because he signed his new contract, he's playing this badly. That was a little bit presumptuous, but to say he's a coward, I mean, like Laurie says, Virgil van Dijk, what words come into your head? Leader, captain, you know, definitely a role model within the change room. I don't think anyone in the Liverpool change room, I don't know about anyone else, but no one in the Liverpool change room looks at Virgil and goes, what a coward.
I don't
No,
think anybody in the Premier League.
He
does.
is facing up those
Well, as you
difficult
said,
questions every week.
he does stand there. Like I said, so to Virgil van Dijk's credit, a coward is someone who will cower away from things. Van Dijk sits there in the interviews afterwards, and he is.
And do you
dead
know what?
honest.
And I've been there, seen it with my own eyes. I've been in mix zones with Virgil, and you know, at Wembley or whether it's on pre-season or at Anfield, he goes and speaks to every single person in that line, and everyone wants a soundbite of Virgil because he's the captain. But he takes it upon himself to literally, and I've seen it happen. Even Callum, who was doing something for, I think it's called The Voice paper, he was next to me, and Virgil said, "Who do you work for?" And he said his name. He's like, "Yeah, let's go." So it's the opposite of coward. He will speak to every single person, and he will face them difficult questions, and be the professional that he is, and answer them in the right way that represents Liverpool
I
Football
think
Club.
what those remarks show as well is how fickle a world football is. I mean, this is
yeah.
a man, Virgil van Dijk. He's literally seen as one of the giants of Premier League football.
Quite literally as well.
Yeah, literally. And then this season, he's having a bad time, an indifferent time, and people are labelling him a coward. I like Alex, I think that's cowardly in itself. From a distance, to label a guy like that a coward, he would never say that to Virgil's face.
The way,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I
So-
saw Virgil and said he was a beautiful man.
yeah, I remember seeing that clip. For me, to be perfectly honest, though, with Van Dijk, it's off the pitch. I don't think you can question him, as we've been saying, like off the pitch, especially the way he's conducted himself for the most part this season. But for me, it's been on the field. There have been a few instances where I'm looking at it and going, "Why are you doing that?" Even like I'm questioning his actions on the field as a captain. So, for example, what was it? He booted it into Kirkes and then had a massive go at Kirkes for it. When Mbumo scored at Anfield, I looked at it and I saw that as it was Van Dijk just assuming that others going to cover the run, and he was jogging back a bit. He was too busy complaining here and there. And obviously what he did in Champions League against PSV Eindhoven, for the life of me, no one is ever going to be able to figure out what he was trying to do in that scenario. So, but there have been, I do understand it, where on field there have been some non-captaincy moments from Van Dijk like that. But that does just,
Well,
the entire Liverpool dressing room
I
is
can
having
give you the
moments like that.
corollary to that, right? Very good example. I'm sure Alex remembers it. Last season, there was an incident whereby a ball had been played in, and Van Dijk makes a mistake, and Andy Robertson gets in front of Virgil's face, and he has a pop at Virgil, and Virgil didn't really respond. He kind of said, "Okay, cool." The very next play, Liverpool go down the. Who was that against? He goes
West
down
Ham.
the other end,
Oh,
and
is
he
that-
scores
and he
the
scores
winner.
the winner, yeah.
I'm like, and but it's just how football goes sometimes. When things are not going your way, they're not going your way. When things are going your way, you make the most of it. So
Yeah, and there's that. There's also the Atletico game this season where we're 2-0 up within 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
Gets back to 2-2 again. There's some fault with Virgil's defending. And he goes, "Do you know what? Right, bosh, 3-2, last minute winner." So even this season, for as many mistakes as he's made, even this season he's bailed us out of trouble scoring goals in the last minute when we need someone to do it. And it's him.
It's almost, but now it's got to the point, Liverpool, it's almost impossible for anyone to bail you out of trouble because the amount of trouble you're in. Because the one thing I want to say is, obviously, we're talking about pundits who maybe don't have the, I'm not going to say not the right to say this kind of stuff, but maybe the credence to be able to make these kind of claims. But Jamie Carragher is a different story. And you wouldn't have seen it, but last night, I tuned into literally last like minute of the Liverpool game just to hear what the post-reaction reaction was. And I wrote down what Jamie Carragher said here. He basically just said, really, really worrying. Feels like it's a step back, the performance you put in last night. This is why I wanted to ask you what actually happened, because I turned around on telly to hear what Carragher said. And he was just astonished. And he basically spent 5 minutes going, I can't believe how much of a step back that was. Because I saw your lineup. We were speaking about this on the show. Me and Abby were talking about this on the show with Ben as well. We're talking about what should Liverpool be doing tonight. Obviously, we were saying this last night. First thing I said was keep Salah on the bench. Oh, and it worked against West Ham, where you played a more fluid front three of people interchanging left, right, centre, and in the middle, creating a bit more dynamism across your front three, which led to West Ham being more confused and led to obviously Gakpo's goal, and I forgot who else scored. Isak. Isak's goal. Isak was kind of at the front, then he pulled back and he scored a nice goal. And I was like, if it worked, don't change it. So Salah was benched, and I saw it, and I was like, that's the right decision. But then again, did it then go back to being way too static? Because before you've said to me, you feel like Liverpool have played within the width of the 18-yard box so many times. So I thought maybe having a more dynamic and fluid front four will then give you more time and space out wide. But was it also another case of Liverpool just playing too narrow?
I think if you create chances from wide or narrow, you don't care how they come, just create the chances. I think Liverpool, especially in the peak and the pomp of Klopp, we had high and wide fullbacks that get to the byline and cross it back. And how many times did we see Firmino or Mane at the back stick heading it in? And that was almost like a style that we mastered, really.
Gung-ho football.
Gung-ho football. This season, not only are we not really using the fullbacks to overlap when they make the run, but we're not really crossing it that much. And I said this on the show earlier, you know, the amount of goals that Alex Isak scores for Newcastle where it's an early cross and he gets his head to it. You know, that width, we're not really seeing that from Liverpool this season. And we're not really seeing, you know, the link-ups that we've seen I know it's very difficult to compare Mo, Mane and Bobby to the front three now because their connection was just off the chart. But it doesn't seem to anything kind of... Even Darwin and Mo had such a great connection. I think he assisted him
them two were like
so many times
last season.
So it is worrying how we're not creating chances from the wide areas, because through the middle we're just very predictable. You can just cut out our pass. We'll try and play it into Isak's feet, but what's he going to do with it at feet? We need him running in behind, or like he did against West Ham, you know, one-touch finishes. That's where we need him in the box, ready to just be pouncing on anything. So it is worrying. You know, cross the ball a bit more, lads. Have a bit of bravery and cross the ball. I
think the one thing I can say about Liverpool, and this happens to a lot of teams, it happened to you guys earlier in the season as well, is that confidence. When confidence is low, it affects everything, all areas of the pitch. And I think what we're seeing of Liverpool is a team that's lost its confidence. Now, that being said, I didn't see the game yesterday, so I can't comment on that. But the times I have seen Liverpool this season, they've not been at their... Well, they've been far from at their best, but once, you know what I mean, confidence has gone, you start seeing players second-guessing themselves, they make mistakes, they start blaming each other. You see...
they go into their shell and they don't take risks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's something that they're just going to have to fight their way out of. Because they are good players. No one's not going to tell me... I mean, that nonsense that Craig Burley... He should know better, by the way. He was a professional player, played at a high level. He should know better than to say something like that about Virgil, but... Yeah, these guys are good players, despite the banter that people like myself and Alex have. They're very good players. They won the title last
that's
season.
The other question that's being asked, is because literally Jamie Carragher came out the other day and basically when he reckons that Salah just doesn't have the legs anymore.
Well, maybe he didn't, but he had the legs last season, didn't he? So,
but could that have just been the last season he had the legs?
Possibly.
I don't know what Jamie Carragher's exact words were, but the overall thing was he basically said the other day he was like he just thinks the players' legs have gone. But I've seen it myself about players' legs are gone, and I've seen Jamie Carragher specifically say players' legs have gone. You know, Casemiro leave the football.
He said that,
footballs leave you,
Casemiro.
and the football's left him. 6 months later, Casemiro's
back in the Brazil squad.
Exactly. Leading it, scoring goals, and
so
it's
this
one
is
of our
exactly
most
my
important
point. People said similar things about Harry Maguire last season, didn't they? And the season before that. And the season before that.
Yeah, and the season before that as well.
And
actually.
here he's still there. Okay, he's injured at the moment, but just prior to getting injured,
I actually, but with Maguire, I actually do think his legs are kind of gone. He's got this is his third injury he's had this so far this season. His hamstrings have gone
barely
again.
Played, has he, this year?
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to. For the most part, he when he plays for us and the style we play, the teams that we play, for example, against Liverpool, he was perfect playing that game. But Spurs, till he got injured, obviously 70th minute, his hamstring went, right game to play him in. But for the most part, I don't want to see Harry Maguire in our starting 11 for most games anyway, because he limits us to a certain type of football that only works when you're away at Anfield, when you're away at Tottenham and stuff.
I guarantee you, if he's going for a bit of an indifferent patch, if this carries on for a few more games, you'll get people say that about him. Oh, his legs.
Bruno,
yeah.
He's got 5 assists in 4 games, and he's up for nominated for Player of the Month for last month.
No, but there has been prior to that.
In October, yes. Yeah, I agree with you in October, but November he's been Bruno actually has been very good in November.
Well, I'll take your word for that.
Yeah. Well, it's nominated for Player of the Month, 5 assists in 4 games. Like he got both assists.
Well, we had that with
Palace.
Odegaard, didn't you? Last season, everyone said, "Oh, he's gone, he's finished." His form did dip. But now he's.
But I think that might be to do with with Odegaard and Bruno. That's just their form falling off, rather than Jamie Carragher suggesting here that Salah's body's actually just starting to give up on him. Because to be fair to Salah, I've always thought, it's the players who last the longest are the ones who don't rely on speed, pace. It's why Rooney obviously tailed off so early in his career compared to a lot of other people, because Rooney from 16 years old was about power, playing through injury, speed, pace and strength. Whereas other players who don't play like that, you got someone like Ibrahimovic, for example, he wasn't necessarily all about that. He was about finding the right space and finishing. Modric is looking fantastic at points with AC Milan, because then the type of football that he plays, and admittedly the league that he's in, is different. Salah, it has been 9 seasons of pure raw power, pace, goal scoring, and just being better, fitter and quicker than everybody. So maybe it could be a case of Salah's body is starting to catch up with him a little bit, and the way that Liverpool are, or at least the way that Slot is trying to play, therefore doesn't maybe compensate for that or allow Salah to still use his best technical abilities, because he's being asked to do too much elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, last season he famously spoke to Slot and said, to get the most out of me this season, you're going to need me to not really defend. I'm just going to attack, and you'll see the value in that output, which obviously did win the league for Liverpool. But I think with Trent, when he was almost Mo's partner on that right-hand side, he defensively helped Trent out quite a lot. Last season there was Conor Bradley, who played a lot of games, who obviously is better defensively than Trent, but still there was the Szoboszlai or there was a Gravenberch to sweep up on that right hand side if Mo didn't get back. This season it doesn't just look like, in my opinion, that Mo's legs have gone. I think the Macca's legs have gone. Gravenberch's legs have gone a little bit. It's not just Mohamed Salah.
Gravenberch.
Yeah, I mean, even
he started the season really well.
Started
He's
really
not
good.
Been fantastic.
Hasn't been
He's
great.
a young guy.
Well, I don't mean his legs have gone in the same way that someone 10 years older than him would go.
But maybe
the
demand's
whole
being
team
asked of
are
him
just
that
not
tired
running
him out.
enough. There was a
Well,
very
that's
famous
one
quote,
of the comments that Slot Out 123 has been saying a couple of times in the comments already. He's been saying it's passive. Is that all the football is passive football, which could come
side
from
to side. It's not line cutting. It's not anything to really jump out your seat about. I mean, Mo Salah, the other night against PSV, he didn't track back, and that led to the second goal. He got absolutely crucified for it. Got slaughtered. Rightly so, by the way, because you can't be ducking out of running back and ducking out of putting the extra work in. I know you'd prefer to not do it so you can get your output up, but if you're not even doing the output thing, then you must get back and you must defend. There's no question about it.
It's that kind of almost the least you can do, isn't it? When stuff
like
is
they
going
say
wrong.
in football, right? I can stop you from crossing it. I can get a tackle in. I can, do all these things to impact negatively your team. But one thing you cannot stop me from doing on a football pitch is running. No one can stop anyone from running. So if you can't run enough and show a bit of hunger to want to close their defence down as quick as possible, force them into a mistake, that gets the crowd up. We're not doing any of them things at the minute. Any of them. So what's happened to our pressing? I don't know.
It maybe, I don't know if it's just a case of you just maybe you're just like last season was just too exhausting, and so far this season it's too exhausting, and it compounds that you feel like you need to score 3 goals at the moment even to be able to try and win a game, because you know you're going to concede 1 or 2. That it all just
But it's
falls
weird.
apart.
We keep a clean sheet against Real Madrid, Aston Villa, and then West Ham. Listen, West Ham are West Ham, but
It's a clean
there's
sheet,
some
clean
stuff
sheet.
to build on there. I mean, it was 2 in a row against Real Madrid and Aston Villa. Clean sheets are so hard to come by for Liverpool, but there's just so many connections over the pitch that were so good last year that have obviously been taken away from us. The connection between the centre-backs and Gravenberch doesn't seem to be working for me. Last year, Gravenberch was the lighthouse. He was the radar that sniffed out any danger, any problems, any trouble. He gets the ball,
so damn good last season.
then he sets it out wide to Mo, or he sets it the other side to Luis Diaz, or we've got, Soboslai there to drive it up the pitch. I don't even think that connection in itself is working at the minute. Curtis Jones, I thought, was good when he came on last night again, shoehorning him in at right back. It's not really his position, but got to a point now where we just want to, as fans, we just want to see as much running as possible, and much heart and desire as possible, because that's the only thing that no one can stop us from doing.
I do also have to say, though, on the flip side of this, Sunderland are a serious team.
Oh, they're good.
Like,
they're well drilled.
Because you've got these teams that I genuinely like, because you're not all the time, but sometimes you see these teams who just have like absolutely fantastic starts to the season, right? Where they first 10 games, they're doing very well, and then they drop off towards the second half of the season. I do actually think there's something different with Sunderland here. They are actually just a really high quality team, high quality starting 11, got good depth, got good players, technical players, and I think as much as the Liverpool game is Liverpool losing it for themselves, Sunderland, because just one of the comments is mentioned, they were like, they'd have been happy with anything against Sunderland. And also as well, like Sunderland, you wouldn't have seen this. I don't know if you've seen this. Sunderland should have scored in the fight in the dying moments. Yeah, I can't remember who was through. Was it? Yeah, he was through on goal, and then he misses the one I want to say, but technically probably should have been a 2-1 win for Sunderland. But I do just want to say big props to Sunderland. At the same time, I want to say Chelsea's title race. 4 days it took. It took 4 days for their title race to fall in the bin. And I'm just looking at some of the stats here in this Chelsea game. Chelsea, 71% possession, 14 shots, but then 2 on target, 1 big chance, scored 1 goal. An XG, didn't even get an XG of 0.96. Whereas Leeds, 17th place, Leeds were in the relegation zone at the start of this game. 29% possession, 2.79 XG, 17 shots, 5 on target, 3 big chances, 1 big chance missed. Leeds, despite having less than 30% possession, managed to play Chelsea absolutely off the park. And I could not believe what I was watching with this Chelsea. I don't know how much you would have watched it. Or saw in the last half an hour or something.
Of the game, and Leeds
could not believe what I was seeing with Chelsea. Yeah. How just terrible they were as soon as they got into the final third and forgot what sport they were playing.
Well, you know what a lot of that is down to? They obviously raised their intensity levels so high when they played Arsenal that they probably rocked up at Leeds a little flat. And this can happen in the Premier League. And talking of running stats, it's interesting because Leeds are one of the teams whose distance covered is one of the highest in the Premier League this season.
Which worries me big time for Saturday, by the way, when we go there.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So those guys
the fact that they run more than us, big time.
I think only Arsenal and Man City have covered more ground than them in the Premier League this season.
Trying to see if I can find it.
Surprise me.
Yeah, the stats that I saw recently anyway. But it just goes to show that running isn't the be-all and end-all, because in the top 5 teams of running stats, Leeds and Burnley are in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're obviously fighting relegation.
But you've always got a fighter's chance if you're running more than the other team.
That's true.
You've always got a cheeky...
You've got to have a bit of quality to go with it.
It's the thing that I had a massive gripe with under Eric Ten Hag. We were always second best, like kilometres covered wise. Like always second best, we were never running.
You can look into the technicalities of that, but it is just blood, thunder and desire. Yeah. If you want it, go
that will take you a certain way forward.
But you have to have that as the basis to have the quality to add on the end of it. If you haven't got this bit, and you've just got the quality, then you've actually got nothing. So you need the blood, guts and gunder bit, and then add the quality onto it. But we're not even doing that at the minute. So how are you supposed to add any quality on when you're second best to everything? The team has time and space to do what they want in your house.
Because if you think about it, though, some teams are set up where they don't do that much running in terms of the whole team. So, for example, if you play teams that persistently deploy a low block, if you think about it, they're inviting you onto them. So their running is going to be more counter-attacking, yeah?
Yeah, but those teams still run a lot, because you run more off the ball.
Yeah.
Normally, like as a starting 11, because you generally, if you're putting a low block, right, you're also then you want to at least have like 2 or 3 people then closing down players who like want to get the cross in and stuff. So you've actually got 2 or 3 players running, converging quite a lot. So you still tend to have quite. So it's when you're not, as you say, when you're not running enough, it just means that no one's really doing their job. Because you don't have if your running distance is low, it means you don't have 2 or 3 players engaging in an organised pressing situation. You might have one, it's what we with Bruno Fernandes. He was running like a headless chicken. He was one-man press at points, like under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and under Erik Ten Hag. He would just run off to the goalkeeper, and then no one else would press. So you just play around him, and then just our running stats were low because you didn't have multiple people pressing, which might be one of the core issues, as you said, with Liverpool. It's just like your press is non-existent.
Yeah.
So you don't have 3 or 4 people covering the same amount of ground all at once. So your stats are just in the bin. But with Chelsea, I still can't figure out what I think about Chelsea. Because one week, I look at how they played against you on the weekend. They went a man down, and they were still better than you and might potentially deserve to win that game over you. Definitely the better team than you on the day, despite having 10 men. And against Leeds, they were horrible.
No, but I've just given you one of the reasons. I said that they've raised their intensity levels. I mean, don't forget they did play Barcelona as well.
So you think that then meant that it had to drop against Leeds?
Yeah, because it's happened to us as well. We had that against Chelsea. So we had Tottenham, we had Bayern. Okay, the Tottenham game, we ended up beating them quite easily, but there's still the intensity of the game and all that goes with it. It's a high-profile game. There's a lot on it. Then we rolled into the Bayern game. That was billed as 2 best teams in Europe. There was a lot of hard yards to be done there. And then you play Chelsea. That's another hard game. On the day, it was noticeable to me that Chelsea were a level above us in terms of their intensity. Not that they wanted it more, but they were able to give a little bit more. Yes.
Yeah, big time.
Chelsea have rocked up at Leeds, and the reverse has been the case there. You see what I mean?
But things as well.
The other thing I would
Chelsea,
say,
did you see?
Just quickly
you
on
go.
Chelsea is that they're quite a young team, and they always say, and I do believe it, when you get young teams, they tend to be inconsistent because it's just the nature of the beast. With youth, you get that, initial burst of energy.
I didn't realise that Tosin was Chelsea's oldest player, and he's 28. I didn't realise that. Chelsea, I think this might be a bit of a possible problem for Maresca in that your oldest player, so in theory most experienced, is Tosin, who you signed on a free from Fulham. Like back when Chelsea under Tuchel, right? They won the Champions League, right? They had the young players, like they had a young Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and who else did they have? They had Loftus-Cheek and co, Tomori, Mark Gay when he was there. Like they had the young players, but they also had like Thiago Silva. They had these old early 30s, mid 30s players at Chelsea. Yeah, you can't be a title contender without these players. You think to Liverpool's your last season when you won the league, all of your best players, you got Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson, Robbo, they're all late 20s, early 30s.
I've been there and done it.
Yeah, and they keep signing players who are 19 to 23. And it means that to a certain extent, it means that on days, as you mentioned, but days where against Arsenal, where they're up for it, and the young players have the grit and the speed and the power to be able to get at them. But then you go away to Leeds, as soon as there's a crowd, this is what some of my Chelsea mates have been saying, is that every time there's a little bit of a hostile atmosphere away from home, Chelsea crumble in. Almost every single time. And they make it, Chelsea, they've not won at Old Trafford in I don't know how long. We're not that good at the moment. We've been okay, but they went a man down really early, stupid decisions really early on. Sanchez got himself sent off, and even when it went 10-10, it took them another 45 minutes for them to score a goal against us. And away against Leeds and away against some of the other teams. I do think Chelsea, they cannot be title contenders unless Maresca or whoever ends up as manager in the next couple of years brings in players who are 29 plus, like someone like Thiago Silva was.
A bit like Sunderland with Granit Xhaka.
100%.
You've got a guy there that's been around the block. He's experienced. He's not too old, but he's experienced enough to know to calm things down when it needs to be, to up the intensity when it needs to be, talk to the players, cajole them. And even Arsenal this season. Again, I mention Arsenal because we have a good balance in the team at the moment between experienced guys and guys that are, young and raw and ready. You know what I mean? So you need that. Over a long season, you do need that. So I'm not surprised. I'm not wholly surprised that Chelsea put in.
Yeah, it just really surprised me. Like in the comments, United versus everybody says, "Are you saying you can't win anything with kids?" No, that's not what I'm saying. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that
you can't win anything with kids. Absolutely shocking.
And then we went and won a treble. But what I'm saying is that you need the older, more experienced player to give the kids the floor to be able to play the best version of themselves. Like, yes, in that United team, yes, it was an incredibly young team, right? You're like a young Beckham, young Scholes, young Giggs, Neville, all these guys. But you also had over the years, you had Peter Schmeichel, Eric Cantona, Jaap Stam. You had the older, more experienced players who can sit there and be the baseline for them for when you're in March, when you're in April, when you're going away against Leeds. Because Leeds and Chelsea, by the way, is a fairly significant rivalry as well. I think Chelsea, I think the only team that Leeds hate more in the Premier League than Chelsea is United. Like, it's a big derby game for them,
Back
especially
when
when
I
they
was a kid, that was a massive, massive game.
huge game.
Billy
And
Bremner, Roy Harris, Chopper.
yeah. I think it's also been such
Alan Clark.
a game that for
late
Leeds as well. Also, this game for Chelsea, I think it's knocked the wind out of them. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen. Obviously, you would have seen like on Matisse's reaction today, but Matisse's reaction at full time, the video made after the game, he looked so depressed.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why. I think even though they didn't beat Arsenal, I think out of all of them, both teams, they would come away thinking they'd probably done more to win the game, even with 10 men, or at least they're more happy with the outcome.
Yeah, they were the moral victors.
Yeah, the moral victors. And I mean, they were going around kicking, everyone in sight. It was a lot of fake bad man stuff. It's like from Kai. Yeah, like Caicedo thought he was a bad man, and then you're not, bro. You just got sent off, and you just let your team down. The energy exerted by the whole team for the Arsenal game, they had to make changes for this game. They did, and Leeds just said, you know what, sweet, come up here. You think you can just play and win? No chance. We're going to make this really difficult for you, and that's why I'm really scared for Saturday. To be honest.
Where is that game? Is that
It's away.
It's at Ellen Road. So it's like Leeds had Chelsea, Liverpool back to back, and it's going okay.
They're going to
could be
get
in
so
big
much
trouble
confidence off the back of that.
Well, that
imagine
plus-
last night. Let's say Liverpool won 4-0 last night. Let's say Leeds lost 3-0 last night. The difference but for both teams going into that game would be so different to what it actually is now. They've won, we've drew, and now it's like, right, we're hot. Come on. I mean, we just had James Toon on.
I'm sure you would agree. It's not just it was a draw, but it was like a loss.
Yeah.
So
well, I felt
again,
like that.
confidence.
You lost 1-1.
I felt like
almost,
that, yeah.
Well, it's because everything for you that isn't a win, or even is a win, it's still hard to think about. But I do have, we've just loaded up here. I just wanted to show on the stream what Matisse's reaction was.
Header. Oh, I'm gonna lose my marbles with this. I'm really trying my best. That's a centre back. What's this woke nonsense? Number 22 again. Number 22 again! Oh, toss in. Welcome back! Get the out of my club! Get the out of my club! Get out of my club! I'm a broken man. I'm a man that just cried on stream. This team, what they've put me and you and all of us through today, it's only just the beginning, because welcome to December.
Absolutely. I love the production, by the way. I've zoomed in on him. That's so funny. It's his face at the end. Like, that's a face of dejection, because as we talk about, Chelsea maybe not being as up for it after the Arsenal game and everything, but as well, they just made some stupid mistakes. Like, I was seeing, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the third goal, like Calvert-Lewin's goal, which had an XG, by the way, of 0.99. I've never, I don't think there's an XG of 1 even exists. So that's like the easiest shot in the world. It was like 4 in a row. Yeah. So, like, as much as you can blame tiredness or all of that, they're also just making fundamental errors. And they seem to do it every single season. And despite bringing all these players in, that 1 week Pedro Neto looks like, a world beater. Next week, he just looks terrible. Garnacho is the same. Like, I saw it at United. 1 weekend, he looks like the best winger in the world. Next weekend, he looks like he doesn't know how to kick a football. As well, I feel like it goes back to my point of Chelsea have a lack of, like, reliability. Whereas,
but as I said before, you do tend to get that with young players.
Yeah.
1 minute, they'll look amazing. I mean, Esteval, against Barcelona, people are saying he's right up there with Yamal and 1 or 2 others.
Well, he completely outdid Yamal on the night. Yeah. Yamal was nowhere to be seen.
A couple of games later, everyone's saying, nah. There's much more work to be done. So that's how it goes with footballers.
And then when you do have stuff like that, you come out with a 2-0 win against Brentford, like Arsenal's win last night. That was far from your easiest game. Even with like Igor Thiago out, I think you made a couple changes. Mosquera coming off in the first half with a possible injury. But it was a nervy. Obviously, you scored the opening goal, but I don't know how you felt. But when I was watching the game, obviously not as an Arsenal fan, but just like taking in the game, it felt like at any given moment Brentford could do something. But at the end of the day, you had the players to get over the line, get that second goal at the end of the match, even with Declan Rice out, and it just chilled everything out. And you were able to, maybe a couple of years ago, that game might end up being 2-1 Brentford or 1-1. Like, that's the kind of game that would cost you the title a couple of years back.
Because I thought we started pretty well. We scored after 10 minutes, and then you think, okay, we're going to go on and kick on here and put it to bed. We did have a few chances. We could have pretty much put to bed the game at half time. We didn't take our chances. And then you guys, you know what it's like, Alex. And you know what it's like, Dylan. If your team's in the ascendancy, creating chances, you don't take them. There's always the worry, especially when you've only scored one, that all that team has to do is go down the other end and get slightly fortunate. You make a mistake, whatever, and they equalise. You think, how did we not beat this team? So it was a little nervy, but I've got to say, I mean, Brentford didn't have a shot on target. I don't know if you know that. So it wasn't like they were...
but regardless, it felt like...
Yeah, it was nervy
because it's only 1-0 in the 90th minute. Any teams that in the game, no matter if they've had a shot on target up to 95 minutes, it's only 1-0. Nick a little corner and
you know that Brentford are pretty astute from set pieces, in particular long throws. All it takes is one of those coyote long throws. Put that in the mixer. Someone's not quite on their job. The ball falls to a Brentford player. Bang, 1-1. So. Yeah, it was a little nervy, but I've got to say, having watched the game, Arsenal were pretty much in, I wouldn't say complete control, but 2-0, put it this way, 2-0 certainly did not flatter Arsenal.
Yeah, it's just because the way I look at this game, the point I'm trying to make is that is the kind of game 2 years ago that I don't think you get. You might score first in that game, but that's the kind of game 2 years ago with a lot of the same players on the pitch. Obviously, you haven't made major changes. You kind of like filled out around your starting 11 that you've had for the most part for the past couple of years, or the spine that you've had. That's the kind of game a few years ago that I don't think you win. But you have the experience and you have the ability now to get over the line, even with Gabriel out and Saliba out. You've got Declan Rice, you've got Saka coming off the bench, you've got I would say even Eze is a pretty experienced player. He's 26 now, having played in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years. Even without some of your other key players, you have the others, Mikel Merino as well, to guide you to that win, which is what Chelsea don't have.
I can't speak highly of him enough. I said on the show on Monday, to go and win a title, I'm not saying specifically Mikel Merino, but what I'm saying is if you're going for a title in the Premier League, every squad that is going for the title in the Premier League needs a Mikel Merino in their squad. I'm not saying it's him, but you need someone like him. Liverpool won the title with James Milner, and I'm not comparing them directly, but that role of put me where you need me, boss. I'll do a good job wherever you need me. No complaints, no grievances about not playing in his natural position. I mean, he's got a striker's instinct for a midfielder that has played in defence before. How does that even compute? He is,
above all, the guy's just a damn good footballer.
He's a great footballer, but above all, it's his attitude. And every league winning team needs a Mikel Merino in it.
I completely agree. I remember when we did the UCL goal show, I had John and Clinton on to do the show, and I don't know why we ended up talking about Darren Fletcher, but we did. And the two of them were banging on about Darren Fletcher being like, Darren. I was like, players like Darren Fletcher have got to get their flowers for being like squad players who can step up when needed and be able to fill in once your Michael Carrick or Paul Scholes can't play. Maybe they're suspended or injured or something. And the two of them were going on like Darren Fletcher doesn't get any damn credit. He doesn't need any credit. What did he do? But Mikel Merino is in that category. I say maybe possibly above the category. Obviously, Darren Fletcher was a fantastic. Obviously, he's won like 6-7 Premier League titles. Like he's technically one of the most successful Premier League midfielders of the modern era. Yeah. But Mikel Merino is exactly like that. Like Jack was telling me before we went live, there was a point where Borussia Dortmund were fielding Mikel Merino in a back three alongside Emre Can.
Saw it.
He was playing as a DM when he joined Arsenal, and even like earlier this year, he was playing as a defensive box-to-box midfielder. Now, on form, he's just one of the best strikers in the league.
Yeah, no, you know what that.
Because even beyond, like you said,
there's two things. He's a very talented footballer, and number two, which is very understated with him, Obviously, he works hard, but he plays a lot of the football in his head. So he's a very, what I call, cerebral footballer. And you saw that yesterday with the way he took that first goal, the technique where he just heads it into the ground, giving the goalkeeper no chance. Our second goal, the slide rule pass through to Saka for the assist. Those are big moments in games, and that's what he can give you. Because sometimes, I'll be honest with you, there's been games when you think, he's not really having much of an impact on the game. And then it will come out with a moment, a clutch moment. You think, wow, that is fair play. So I thought he was our man of the match yesterday. I know a lot of people voted for Ben White, but I said on the stream.
No, I agree. I agree with you, yeah. I think
the two big moments, he was involved in both of them.
It's his movement, which I'm so surprised about, you know, in a good way. Like, his movement, his ability to go straight into the box. It's
like an Alexander Isak at Newcastle finish.
Yeah.
You have no idea where it is, and then suddenly he's there.
Clean, bro. But the instinct to get, and the pace, power to get ahead of your man, move him to the side. I mean, if Haaland does that, you're going, that's a great striker's finish. If Merino does it, you're almost hesitant, not saying you, people are hesitant to give him as much credit as he should for that strike.
And he's been doing it for Spain as well.
He deserves it.
Bro, he's got 30 goals and assists in 2025.
Yeah, like 29, 30 goal involvements. From a player who, when you signed him for, was it 36 million pounds, everyone was like, why? This is why.
When you saw him doing that, the number 8 role he was being deployed as when he first started. Yeah. And I've got to admit, a lot of us at Arsenal were a bit underwhelmed. We're thinking, you know, we knew he was good for Spain in that role, and I've seen him play up top. Then Havertz get the injury, and then he goes up top, and he's like banging in goals. You're thinking, and then he's kept it going. It's not a fluke. Yeah, very good player, very good footballer,
great professional as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the exact kind of player, like I was saying. Just like, oh no, I'm bringing this back to United again. I've been accused of that recently a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm feeling happy.
I must say, I've never noticed that.
Yeah. Well, you bring it along about Arsenal. You talk about Liverpool a lot. I obviously talk about United a lot. So together it works. Like Merino is like bringing, like so I said, but Darren Fletcher. Like Darren Fletcher was utterly incredible for us because he did the exact job he was bought to do and needed to do. And obviously now he's like on an under-18s manager and everything. And I really hope he has a great career. But Merino's the same. Like this probably wasn't the plan though, was it? The plan wasn't for Mikel Merino to do this. It was Kai Havertz was injured. You had no other strikers available, and it was okay. Merino's got a half-decent finish on him, and he's never looked back. I class him. I don't know about you. I just class Merino as a striker now. Like, I know he's played everywhere on the pitch, but at this point, he's, 28, 29. I just see him as one of Arsenal's striker options who can play elsewhere rather than, like, auxiliary striker.
Sometimes you can find your position. But one of you guys referenced Joe Linton earlier, wasn't it? He started off life as a striker.
Yeah.
It didn't quite happen for him. Eddie Howe switches him to midfield, and wow.
Revelation.
Yeah, so these things do happen.
Yeah. I mean, Saka started off as a left-back.
Yeah, so did Bale.
So did Bale.
Yeah. So did McTominay was a DM. Although, actually, to be fair to McTominay, he played striker in our academy for 10 years. And then we just, for some reason, Mourinho just put him in defensive midfield. Yeah. So I think McTominay was getting back to where he's always should have been. Merino is just, he's collected enough skills to be an intelligent, clever, they mean the same thing, athletic, good, like very, very good footballer.
Miles Lewis-Skelly was a midfielder, converted to left-back.
I still think
so well that he cracked the England squad. Yeah.
I still think Lewis-Skelly will end up in midfield, though.
Yeah.
I think he's destined.
Will it be for Arsenal, though?
I don't know. Ask Arsenal fans.
Well, will he get the chance? With how good
your
midfield is?
Rice, Subamendi and Co.
That is what I'm saying. If he wants to play in midfield and Arteta goes, well, to be honest, we've got Subamendi, Rice and Eze or Odegaard. Like, there isn't really...
I think for the time being he'll play where he's required.
But that's what I'm saying. If he wants to play midfield, would it be for Arsenal? Because I don't see him breaking into that 3.
I think he could.
Well, he's 19 now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's turning 20 in September.
At 19, 20, you've got to be playing every week.
No, you don't.
You do. I think
you don't just be playing every week, but you've got to get enough chances to be able to develop as a player.
Exactly.
If you want to be one of the top greats of the league, then you need to be playing week in, week out at 19, 20. Look at Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, Owen, Rooney. They were playing 200 games before they got to 20.
Well, could that be the question of if Lewis-Skelly really wants to go play in midfield, should he be going on loan?
Yeah. Or just
I can't see him doing that. He loves Arsenal through and through. He's a
but he could go on loan and still love Arsenal. We've got Harry Amas, who's a left back. We sent off to Sheffield Wednesday. He's playing week in, week out now. Chido Obi's going on loan in January.
To sound disrespectful,
they're 18.
Arsenal at the
There's
moment,
levels.
United is different gravy.
No, but it doesn't matter what club you play for. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to play, as Alex said, as many minutes as possible, which could be Lewis Skelly going on loan to Fulham, right? Premier League experience, stays in London, and would Lewis Skelly therefore long term, if he then plays 25 games in all competitions for the rest of the season rather than the 9 starts he might get at Arsenal, then in 2 years' time, he could be twice the player he is and then come into the Arsenal side and become your starting number 8 or something.
I would suggest, in answer to that, is that Arsenal, in my humble opinion, are on the verge of something very special, because I think if Arsenal win the title this year, which I firmly believe that they will, I think that the confidence and momentum that they will pick up from that will mean that we will be winning trophies on a regular basis over the next 4 or 5 years. Miles Lewis Skelly, I'm assuming, will want to be part of that. I cannot see him wanting to go out.
It's not necessarily about not him wanting, it's whether they want him to be a midfielder. I understand Arsenal wouldn't want to get rid of the academy boy who loves the club, they love him, but we love you as a left back. Well, I want to play central midfield. Okay, well, you're not going to do it here, because we've got Rice, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Eze, Norgard, who are midfielders. You look at back in the day, David Beckham, Manchester United said, what a prospect this kid's going to be. Let's get him out on loan at Preston. And then he comes back and earns his stripes and gets back in the team that way. It's not about how much they love each other and how much...
No, I'm talking about where Arsenal are at the moment. You want to be part of that.
They'd want to keep it. He would want to be part of that.
You want to be part of that.
But in what capacity?
If he can't prove himself in midfield because he's busy trying to get over Declan Rice and Zubimendi, who he just will not start over in the key games because Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world. Zubimendi is proving himself to be absolutely fantastic at Arsenal as well so far this season. Lewis Skelly just flat out is not starting. You think next season Lewis Skelly's benching either of them? No. So if Lewis Skelly wants to be a midfielder and wants to be part of Arsenal's midfield, he's not going to be able to do that if he's only ever getting games off the bench at left back, occasionally, maybe a midfield appearance in the FA Cup third round against Preston. For his own development, if he wants to be part of it long term, he needs to develop as much as he can right now. And he won't do that at Arsenal. He can stay and be a squad player, and maybe if Calafiori gets injured, cool, he gets in at left back. But he's not starting over Calafiori or Rice or Zubimendi or anyone. So in the short term, potentially a 6-month loan to someone, let's say Fulham, or let's say Kamada, I don't know if he's got an injury at Crystal Palace, or maybe Wharton goes at Crystal Palace this summer, and then Lewis Skelly gets a year playing starting 35 Premier League games. He's then 20 or 21, comes back to Arsenal, and he's 10 times better than he would be right now in terms of experience and ability in the Premier League. Would it not be a sensible decision for him to be part of Arsenal long term?
But I can't see the momentum that Arsenal building, of which he is. Okay, he's not starting every week, but he's still an important part of what we're doing. I can't see him forsaking that, going out on loan to somewhere else. Not right now.
So you reckon he would stay at Arsenal and keep doing this role to collect the trophies?
Because I reckon he will get enough game time in the season to justify him staying at the club. I honestly think so.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. We've got a couple of super chats. Jonas Kamara says, haha, grown man crying after chatting last week about Arsenal. AGT, have faith. We will rise after the new year. Arsenal voodoo. Haha. So, keep the faith, Alex, is what he says.
Who was crying?
I actually have no idea. But thank you for the super chat regardless. And then Jonas Kamara says, Lewis Skelly to Madrid for free and Wary to LFC.
Who?
Ethan Wanyeri, sorry. That is a super chat. Thank you very much.
I would say though that, and it's interesting because myself and Curtis, shout out to Curtis, we had a conversation about this morning. I'm a little concerned at the lack of minutes that Ethan Wanyeri is getting. I do think he's been very underused. I mean, why couldn't he get any game time yesterday?
But would he not also want to stay at Arsenal to be part of this project?
Yeah, but he's featuring a lot less than Miles Lewis Skelly is this season.
And that's not a lot as well.
So you reckon maybe it's a loan from one?
I reckon if anyone was liable to make the jump, or I wouldn't say use the word jump, but if anyone was to consider a loan move, I think it's more likely to be Ethan because he's a little bit older.
Just think with both of them, the options ahead of them are so clear of their like actual abilities, right? Because I'm not talking about their potential.
Sounds like
right?
you are to me.
Well, but both of them are incredibly high potential players. They wouldn't be doing what they've done. Like, Mano wouldn't be starting for Arsenal games at 17. Lewis Skelly absolutely bossing it at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. They wouldn't be doing that if they didn't have just immense potential. But right now, you're picking your starting 11. Neither of them are in them. Neither of them, I don't think, are close. Like, Calafiori's been stunning this season at left back.
No, that's not true.
Rice has been fantastic as well.
Miles has played, and Miles has got more minutes.
Yeah, Miles has got more minutes than him, but if you're picking Arsenal starting, let's say you're going away to Man City, right, and every single player of yours is fit, I don't think Lewis Skelly's getting into that conversation because he needs more minutes, he needs to play more, he needs more experience. You want Declan Rice in that fixture because he's so experienced. You want Merino maybe starting up front, you want Saka playing, you want, I don't know, maybe Odegaard and Eze playing as well, because they are 26, 27, like they've got experience of not winning titles but playing in those huge games, whereas Lewis Skelly needs that experience, which I just don't think he's going to get in the next 18 months at Arsenal.
He will get minutes.
He'll get minutes. Kobe Mainoo will get minutes at United. Doesn't mean that he's going to be able to get enough minutes.
In that game. That's a high-profile Champions League game. He will play in that game. Whether Wanyeri will play in that game is another matter.
But I saw the same thing with Ahmad, right? When he was 18, we brought Ahmad in. He scored a couple goals. He looked amazing in some Europa League games. We made the decision, go to Sunderland, right? Obviously, his first loan at Rangers didn't quite work out, but his loan at Sunderland, he won Young Player of the Year there. He scored like 15 goals. He was one of the best players in the Championship. Came back, got an injury, but he then came back after the injury. Now look at him. He's one of our best players, and he's been fantastic this season. In the last 18 months, he's been amazing. The loan accelerated his development.
But you're
by about 3
overlooking
years.
one thing. United are not winning nothing in that time. What I'm saying to you, Arsenal are on the verge of doing something big. So if you're Miles Lewis Skelly, why would you forsake that for a loan? You're still young enough that you can come good. You know,
yeah, but he's already played enough games this season to collect the medal if you win the league, even if he goes on loan.
The point I'm trying to make is he can be part of something big. Why are you going to forsake that by taking a move to Fulham where you're not going to win anything?
Well, I just think
it's about winning trophies as well.
The way I think about it is, if you do think that Arsenal are going to go on to possibly win 3 of the next 4 Premier Leagues or something, he might play a bigger role in that next Premier League title than if he went on a 6-month loan now in January, for example, and possibly he could play his way into the England squad if he then goes to. I know I'm just using Fulham as an example that way, but but I do also. There is a certain extent, if he's an Arsenal fan, if he can be in the title-winning squad for Arsenal, I do get it. I just think for his development, it would accelerate if he starts 17 of the remaining 20 Premier League games rather than 3 of them. That's just how it, because you need Championship or Premier League minutes to develop in the Premier League. We've seen it with players like Wirtz, for example, coming in from the Bundesliga. It's such a massive jump that you can see why Wirtz is rated so highly.
Can you? Why?
Yeah. Come on, he's still yes, he's not scored he's not scored 13 Premier League games. Obviously, his goal last night was given as known goal.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But there is a certain level of, at least at Leverkusen, he's shown little flashes at Liverpool about why he was rated or is rated so highly by those in football. But you need the experience, and you literally need to rack up the Premier League minutes and be able to do it. Even Gravenberch, he needed to rack up the Premier League minutes in that first season, be able to get to the point where he can then become so good in the future. We got a couple minutes left, and I do want to just touch on the United West Ham game quickly, because United are playing West Ham tonight, last Premier League game, and if we beat West Ham 8-0, we'll go 4th. But obviously we're not doing that. But the Premier League table, after Chelsea's title charge the other day that ended, we could be level on points with them if we win tonight.
You would have to make Man United favourites. However, Man United we spoke about inconsistencies. They are a team. I mean, not of recent, but previously, they are capable of flunking it. And I would say that even though West Ham are far from a good side, since Nuno has come in, he has managed to at least get them to lift a leg. I think their running stats are already significantly up since he took over. We spoke about running earlier in the show. So it could kind of balance itself out. I might go for a draw in that game. Yeah, I think. I think I might.
I don't mind a draw. I think West Ham, again, speaking to their fans after the game, they think they deserved a draw against Liverpool. I would say Liverpool probably just did deserve to do it, but they did the double over Man United last season. They won there last year.
We're a different team this year. entirely that we would slap us this year
Yeah,
would
but-
completely annihilate us last year.
I mean, you can still lose a game.
Yeah, no, we can.
At home.
The game against Everton showed that.
Yeah.
But we have lost 2 of our last
Everton
9.
down to 10
It's
men.
not as if we've lost 7 of our last 9 and we barely be able to scrape them goals. We, attacking wise, I know again against Everton it was really bad, but for the most part, we've been great attacking wise. Well, not great. We've been much better this season we were last season. It's just defending we've not been great at. But looking at some of the games, obviously looking at West Ham's game versus our games, I would say a draw is way less likely than us winning this game. Like I went 3-1 the other day,
Wait,
and
say
that's
again,
what I believe. A draw is a lot less likely than us winning. Like
So you think
we
you're
are.
going to win?
Yeah, my prediction the other day was 3-1.
Can you look down the camera and say we will definitely win tonight?
I think we're going to win 3-1.
No, not think. We definitely will win to win.
Say your
Yeah, you know
chest,
what? Sure, we'll definitely win tonight. My prediction is 3-1.
Okay.
That's what it is.
No, it's just good to have these things sometimes on
Yeah.
camera.
Well,
just in case.
say that. Hey, look, we'll find out in about 3 hours. Obviously.
I'm going for a draw.
What
1-1,
scoreline?
1-1.
1-1 draw. You're saying
2-1 West Ham.
2-1 West Ham.
Oh,
So what?
West
So
Ham.
now it's a West Ham win.
Yeah.
Can you look into the camera and say that West Ham are winning 2-1?
West Ham are winning 2-1.
There you go. So at least we've both got the ammo. But thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, it's been... my name is Dylan. I've been your host today. As always, on Live at 5. Will be tomorrow, by the way. It's the World Cup draw at 5 p.m. So we'll be here live to react to the World Cup group stage draw. Make sure you're tuned in. Apart from that, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know about what you thought about what we're talking about. Predictions for the game, what you think about, the Martin Lewis Skelly and all of that. Fields quickly said, United are going back to where they came from. A small team from the 1930s. And Arsenal bottle the league win. Most against Villa. Must win against Villa and United to lose today. Well, on that bombshell, thank you very much. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome along,
That is
weekend
unbelievable.
roundup. Oh my days.
Wow.
We're in for a great show today, guys. Well, what about the North London derby?
I'm not getting rattled.
And we're 3 points off top 4, so it's not looking too bad.
Yeah,
Foden
5-1.
88,
I'd say
Saka
that's about
87.
right,
I think that's wrong.
Nice that you put your top on. You want to take it off and get the branding out? Happy birthday!
Make a wish to win the league.
I did.
How much chance will Arsenal have of winning the Champions League?
0, mate.
If we got through
Can't do
PSV, do you think there's any chance?
No,
that we
no,
know?
no.
Hang on, let me finish.
Predictions
2-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 Wolves.
Chelsea to beat Man United at Old Trafford.
Still
You're
there.
in trouble if we win this game.
You better not lose on Saturday.
We beat the world champions this weekend. That makes you world champion.
We're the world champions, but you're not in a title.
This is why you'll never win the league.
6 million down the drain.
Robbie celebrating a 1-0 win. Abby Pilates instead of trophies. You never walk alone.
Catch us every Monday for the weekend roundup.